Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Susan Corvo is joining us again. She's the president of Susan Corvo Redesign, LLC. They specialize in end-to-end interior design services, decorating, remodeling, and so much more around your needs, your tastes, your aspirations. SusanCorvo.com is the website. Welcome back today. How are you?
Looking forward to spring.
Looking forward to spring as well. And things start to get brighter, right? The colors outside, flowers start blooming, makes you think about colors all around and brighter, refreshing colors like repainting the house maybe. It's time.
Absolutely. I have been getting so many phone calls about, oh my God, I know I need to paint the outside this summer and I'm ready to repaint inside. But that people really get stuck, because it's very hard to choose color because it looks so different in different lights.
Very true. So, all right. So that's our topic today, right? Color your world?
Yes.
Perfect. And just to remind everyone, you're based out of Fairfield, Connecticut, correct? But you work with clients everywhere?
I do. Mostly the tri-state area, but I can do a lot of things remotely now. So I've been working with clients in Florida. I've worked with clients in Seattle and in California, because now that we can do so many things over Google Meets or Zoom and FaceTime, it really has changed the entire business of interior design and decorating.
Perfect. Well, today, those of us, I know a lot of us could be overwhelmed with the racks and racks of color strips, fabric samples, and so much more. Maybe you're struggling to find that rug that goes with your furniture and your walls. But let's ask Susan, because she's here to help you learn the color rules that designers follow so you can easily put them together to work in your own home. So let's start with what needs to be considered when choosing a paint color today.
So it depends on what you're talking about. For your house outside, people tend to think, oh, I love this color on a paint strip. But color on the out with the sun shining on your big house may not be dark enough. I know somebody that made a mistake and said, oh, I loved this color on the color strip. I thought it'd be great. Put it on the house, and it looked totally washed out. Because what you see on one little, 2x2 strip isn't what's going to look like on a house that's sitting in the sun or shade. So when you're thinking about your external color, you need to add a little more depth to it, because it's going to be washed out by the sun. When you're thinking inside for paint color, you have to remember that depending on the light, whether you have natural light, like from your windows, or overhead lighting, or sconces, or lamps, it's going to look different on every single wall in your house. And everyone gets so frustrated because they're like, I put it on every wall and I hate it on this wall. I'm like, yeah, that's going to happen, because if it's in the north side of the house and it gets no light, it's going to reflect some different colors. And also, the walls reflect the color of your furniture. So when you're deciding on a paint color, it's the last thing you choose when you're designing and decorating, because you pick your carpeting, you decide on the flooring, you decide on furnishings, you decide everything, and then you pick your wall color, because I could make you any color I need. I mean, that's easy to just combine colors, like we learned in grammar school, combining colors and what they make, and we can take tones of it. So we always say, think about the light in the room and the furnishings in the room to find a great base for the room. So the wall is there to kind of be a base for everything you have, from artwork to curtains to furnishings to carpets. And it's really something that just is in the background.
All right. So wait, should the wall come first then, or the furnishings and fixtures? How does this work? Okay.
So first it's for furniture, because, you only have a limited number of furniture, fixtures. Like, they don't come in 50 million colors. But remember, when you mix colors, you can mix any color you want. So start with everything else and say, okay, I've put my room together. I've chosen my sofa. I've chosen my rug. I've chosen another chair in the room. Then I come in and say, okay, great. What's the background of all of this? Is it a gray? Is it a cream? Is it a soft blue, or soft green? Something that's really just going to bring it all together. And that's how you choose it. You pick everything else first, and then your wall color. Now, there are times, though, when I can say to somebody, especially if they're looking to sell their house and they want one neutral color, I can say there's a couple neutrals that'll work great, and you could take it through your whole house. That go with everything.
Got it. All right.
And that can be, that could be, depending on the tones in your house, it could be a gray neutral, It could be a beige neutral. Because if you don't have gray in your house, don't put gray on your walls. Because it'll make everything else look miserable.
Yes, and just blend in. It kind of looks weird. I'm picturing it now, a gray couch on a gray wall. Where do you sit?
Yeah.
You can't even see it.
Right.
Could I just ask specifically if you do have a gray couch? Because I'm thinking about getting a gray couch for my room, and it does need a painting. Is like a neutral color better, like a beige, or what would go with a gray couch? Let me just ask specifically.
Yeah. So if you're going to do a gray couch, I mean, are your floors wood floors?
Yes, they are. Dark wood. But I do have a rug down.
Okay. So what I would do is then think about, is it a light gray or a dark gray couch, and how big is the room? Because you could take a shade of that gray. You wouldn't want to match it, but you might want to go lighter or darker, depending on the colors in the rug, and depending on if it's, like if you have an open concept and it's not just a family room, but it's open to another room, well, then that color has to go into that other room, too.
Yes, good point. Good point. And then, well, let me ask you about this, because the couch is a dark gray. The walls right now are the same color when I moved in, just a basic beige. And then the floor is dark brown, but then there's also like a beigey white carpet on the floor that I'm going to replace. So I'm starting fresh with the carpet. So just if you could picture that, I mean, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, I can.
All right. So the dark gray couch, the dark wood floor, and then what would you think for the wall or accent rug?
So I think for the wall, for the accent rug, I might bring in a color with the dark gray, like a blue.
So to match, to match the couch. Okay, good.
A gray and a blue. And then on the walls, I would do a lighter gray, like a classic gray or Repose Gray from Sherwin-Williams is a beautiful, natural, lighter gray that just sort of sits there. I mean, Balboa Mist is a beautiful grayish color, too. That could work. So you're kind of saying if the couch is darker, we're going to go with a soft gray on the walls.
Got it. All right. Thank you. Thank you. These are things I got to think of in the next few months. Thank you. I'm sorry we went off topic, but I appreciate it. Awesome.
Well, that's what I'm here for, though.
Oh, good. Thank you. And you got to make sure you say the color's going to look good on your walls. And it's so stressful because it's like I wish you could see it. Wait, but you do 3D design. Could you plan this out for someone so they could see different paint colors with different couches, with different furnishes?
Yep. We can. I mean, so what I do is I also come in, and so I say, okay, let's get the couch in the room. And I can say, even the swatch of color. And I bring in different colors and show you what it means and why there's undertones. So some grays have a blue undertone. Like gray owl is a beautiful blue undertone in a gray, a light gray with a blue undertone. There are some grays that have a purple undertone, believe it or not, and some that have green. And if you don't have those colors in your room and you say you want to go with blue as an accent color in the rug, then you've got to get a gray that more has a blue undertone. So, and then when you put it on the wall, I always tell people, let's test it on the wall, do it all 4 walls and take a look at it, and then you'll see kind of how it looks in different lights.
Got it. Good to know. I'm loving this. By the way, Susan Corvo is on the line. That's Susan Corvo, Corvo.com. And we're talking here with all her interior design tips and all that she could do for you. We're talking about coloring your world today. All right. So what's the best way to use bold colors, would you say? And conversely, how do you pick the right whites and other neutrals?
Yeah, so for a bold color, so if you're like, oh my God, I just want a bold color on the wall, understand that that's going to be up there for a long time. I try to steer people away from 4 walls of bold color, but I might do 1 accent wall of bold color, and that bold color would be, so say you decided to bring some blue into the carpet. I would match that blue and maybe do 1 wall of that blue and the rest neutral. And then other ways to bring bold colors in are in your accents, like in your pillows, because you can always replace those. You're not going to paint a wall over again very soon. As you know, you moved in and you're still living with your wall.
Yeah, exactly.
So bold colors come in your accent pieces. It comes in pillows or a throw or a vase, that you're accenting with. That's where I tend to use bold colors. When you think about color, think about a man in their suit. They wear a suit, which is about 80%, 80% of what they're wearing, their shirt, and their tie is their pop of color, which is really only 10% of their outfit. So that's where you think about when you're picking your color. That bold color is like that little pop here and there that you want to use. Like if you were going to do blue in the rug with the gray, maybe you love orange. So you'll pick a pop of orange and put a vase, and the pillow might have some orange in it too. and that's where you get your boldness from.
Got it.
Yeah, and when you're looking at neutrals, like picking white is the hardest color. So white isn't really a color, just so we know. White, gray, and black are not colors, but they have tones to them. So when you're looking at some of those neutrals for white, you have to decide, do you want a stark white, and that can look gray, or do you want a warm white, which has more creamy undertones? And the same thing with your neutrals. Your neutrals can give a tone of gray or blue or green, and so you have to understand where the color comes from. When you look at those charts that have like 6 colors on a strip, that tells you where the color comes from. Is the gray have some green in it? Does the gray have some blue in it? And then you'll see, and it is difficult, but that's why you call a color consult, because I can come in and say, great, I can look at your house, I can look at your woodwork, I can look at your floors, and I can say, okay, here's your neutral. Your neutral might be white dove. Your neutral might be simply white. Your neutral might be Revere pewter. It's a great grayish color that works everywhere and kind of goes with everything. So really, that's when I say to people, instead of making that mistake, because painting is not cheap, call in a designer and ask for a color consult. It takes us an hour. We come in, we kind of go through everything and show you what colors, and usually pretty quickly can say, nope, this is the color that will work in this room.
Wow, that is awesome. And can you do this virtually, or is it a little more difficult, or with pictures?
It's a little more difficult. For a real color consult, I can get a general idea virtually. I can't say I haven't done that. I did an exterior of a house. The painter called her. All of a sudden, it was going to be dry. And he's like, I'm coming to paint. She's like, oh, my God, I haven't gotten a paint color yet. So I took pictures. She sent me pictures. I went online. I looked. And I was able, because I understood the house and I could see it really well if I have enough pictures externally, I was able to pick her entire color samples, send it over to her, and she's like, wow, that's great. We love this. And I can somewhat do it inside. I mean, I've done it remotely, both in Seattle and in Florida, where, I FaceTimed with them so that I could see. They've sent pictures. And I can get a general idea. If someone says to me, I want to stay neutral throughout the home, what color do I want to use? So based on the flooring, based on the furnishings, I can then pick a color.
Got it. Makes sense. All right, Susan, could you remind us how we can reach out to you? And we'll take a quick commercial break here. Give us all forms of contact if you don't mind.
Sure. You can actually reach me, call my cell phone, 203-536-0712. You can send an email at susan@susancorvo.com, and I usually respond to those within 24 hours.
Perfect. Let's do this. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll continue to talk more about coloring our world. Stay tuned, everyone. Please don't go anywhere.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Is your home ready for a new look? Would you love to work with an interior designer but think it's unaffordable? I'm Susan Corvo of Susan Corvo Redesign, and with my unique approach to interior design, you can live in a beautiful, functional home. Whether you need a whole house renovation, a custom designed kitchen, or assistance just choosing paint colors and window treatments, I offer flexible plans that work for you, your budget, and timeline. A beautiful home starts with what you already have and love. Let me help you reimagine your world. Learn more at susancorvo.com.
Broadcast Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back. Susan Corvo joining us here once again. We are excited to have her talking about adding that color to the house, whether it's furnishings, whether it's the colors of the walls, you name it. It's time to make it all happen as interior designer. Spring is always just the way of the year, right? You feel like doing things and getting things done that you've been sitting in the cold winter months, right?
You do. Everyone is like, okay, it's been a little bit warm. We're getting that hint of spring. We're like, let's just get things done so that we can really enjoy the summer and be outside. I mean, when we live in New England, we have to capitalize on the nice weather and be outside, not be inside thinking about our house.
Absolutely. Now, we're speaking of colors of rooms and all. Do we need to, a whole house? You have a living room, dining room, most people, a kitchen area, bathrooms. But should they match at all, or could they be separate colors? How do you figure that part out?
Yeah, so I kind of like to say downstairs, your main room, because a lot of people, it kind of all flows. I would say more of a one color in the downstairs that is open to each other, especially if an open concept. If you have an open concept living room, great rooms, area, kitchen, dining, then it has to all be one color. And then you'd want shades maybe of it and complementary colors that go with it in other rooms. I think gone are the days where we paint every single room a different color and all the trim a different color in each room. I mean, the rule of thumb is I tend to say keep your trim the same color throughout, whether you're using Chantilly lace, simply white, white dove, decorator's white, just take it through the house. And then for your walls, your hallways, your main areas, again, keep like one constant color that you don't get sick of it. That way you can design around it. And then obviously bedrooms and bathrooms can be other colors. But it still the downstairs of your house needs to flow. So whatever colors you're choosing, they all need to flow from the bathroom to the dining room to the kitchen to the family room. All of those colors need to flow. Your hallway upstairs needs to flow. And then for the bedrooms, that's where you want to choose, if you have kids. I mean, boys don't want to, they may not mind a gray bedroom, but, sometimes they want to choose. If you're a daughter, she's going to want a pink bedroom to start and maybe go to purple and then go crazy and go psychedelic after that. And that's okay. In your master bedroom, color actually has mood and tone, and you want something relaxing in your master bedroom. So there's a color, my favorite color called gray cashmere. It's bluish green. It is so soft, so relaxing, and it's great for a bedroom. A lot of bedrooms you see will be more in the blue-green tone colors, just because that's a very relaxing color. You would never really want to paint your bedroom red because that's not relaxing.
No, it's not. No.
No. Not at all.
Oh, wow. Well,
so that's what I think about when I think about kind of your general guidelines, for going downstairs and then upstairs and for bedrooms. Again, remember, you really want it relaxing in your bedroom. You want to be able to say, oh, my God, I can just sit back and relax and go to sleep. Even for kids' rooms. I know a lot of kids will be like, oh, I want this really bright, like Pepto-Bismol pink. Well, that's just not relaxing. And you might want to steer them away and try to get them more into a ballet pink so that when they get to the room, it's a little more relaxing and comforting, and they'll actually go to bed.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, no offense, if you like the color red, I'm just stuck on that for a second. Like Valentine's Day, you can add some accent pillows during the time of the holiday, right?
Yes.
Little red, white, and blue for, 4th of July, a little red and green for Christmas. So it's always good to use little accent pieces instead of like making things so permanent.
Absolutely, especially with pillows. I mean, if you're like in your room, if you're doing a new rug and you're going to say, hey, if you really want to think about, hey, maybe I don't want to bring the blue in on the rug. Maybe I just want to keep it more neutral with the gray, go with a lighter gray and some creams in it. And then that way you can always change out your pillows. You're not stuck with blue. You can go red and green for Christmas. You can go red for Valentine's Day. You can bring in green for St. Patty's Day. At Christmas, you could have anything you want. And that's one thing I say to people. If you're somebody that really loves to change it up and decorate like that, then stay very neutral on their furnishings.
Yeah, very good. Thanks for that tip there. Wow. Is there any really trends in color families these days? Are you seeing, in 2022 that you want to comment on?
Thankfully, gray is starting to peter out. Everything was so gray for a while, and it was getting, for designers, we're like, oh, my God, let's bring some color back in. And I see color really coming back in. I see green making a headway with green cabinets and green couches, and it's great. And I see bright colors coming back into the floor plate because people have been home and tired of looking at gray. So some of the trends are some greens now. I mean, those are the colors of the year. People are bringing in some purple even. So I think I tell people when you're painting your wall, or buying a sofa, don't go on trend because you're not painting for another 10 or 15 years, and you're not buying another sofa for another 10 or 15 years, hopefully. So I say let's stay neutral, but if you want to pop in the trendy color of green or anything else, then you can do that. I think that's really, I'm seeing more of the beiges and the creamy colors and the earth tones come back in, which is beautiful.
Got it. Good to know. It's funny because I was just, for like 2 years now, I've had in my cart, don't laugh at me, but from like Lowe's, I have in my cart like this vanity that I like for my downstairs bathroom, and it's gray and it's got the white top. And now I'm looking at it now and I'm like, I don't like thinking about a gray vanity. Thank God I never bought that or did that. And you're right, gray's going out. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of natural wood is coming back in.
Yep.
So like a white oak, a real natural wood is coming back in with a white top and, bringing back some of the earthy elements and some of the natural elements so that your house feels, and then putting in greenery. And it's really pretty. I'm very happy to see natural wood come back. I've always had it. A lot of clients are like, no, I just have to get that gray vanity. I'm like, oh, okay, let's get the gray vanity.
Yeah, I'm going back for the white, the neutral. You're right. I could always do the accent pieces, the colors, and all that. You're teaching me today as well. As always, thank you.
You're right. You're quite welcome.
So what if someone, says they like their rug, their furniture, window treatments, but are tired of the paint color? Can you refresh that and ensure that it doesn't clash?
Yes. So you can always change the paint color in the room. And if you want to get away from, say somebody says to me, I have all this gray furniture, but I want to get away from my gray walls, then there's other things we can do. We can use some more neutral, some warmer whites, to get that more earthy tone. We can bring a color into one wall. They're really, paint color is the easiest thing to change and the cheapest out of everything. It's cheaper than buying a rug these days, but, you can get great rugs at Home Goods too, and even Home Depot, and still say, great, let me go neutral and then let me change the wall color. It's probably one of the least expensive things you have to do in your house is change your wall color.
Got it. Good to know. Thank you so much. And also, in coloring our wall today, what about ceilings? Do people color their ceilings now, too?
They do. And actually, it's so funny. Wallpaper is making a huge resurgence. Wallpaper on the ceiling, wallpaper on the walls. And you have to be careful because you got to pick something that you're going to like because it's there for a while. And it's not inexpensive to put up. But a lot of times now, to add a little boldness, like in a powder room, if you're putting up wallpaper, you might paint the ceiling a color, like one of the colors in the wallpaper. A lot of times, if it is a sloped ceiling and maybe you're doing a neutral on the wall, like, linen white, I might say just take it up the ceiling too, instead of a white ceiling. So it's interesting. A lot of people are saying, hey, let me just do something. Let me paint the ceiling a color. And it could be bold. If in a small bathroom, a bold ceiling, red or blue, depending on the walls, could really look stunning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. And let me ask you, just as an interior designer, you see a lot of these beautiful ceilings that people like inset. What do you call that? It's like you push...
Coffered. Yep, a coffered ceiling.
Crawford? Is that what it is?
Coffered, yeah.
Oh.
It's coffered, coffered ceiling where they have all the molding and it's coffered.
Yeah.
And it looks beautiful and it's fabulous if you have tall ceilings.
Got it.
I have, and especially even putting in beams and stuff, you really need to have 9-foot ceilings to be able to put in that type of a coffered ceiling because it adds about probably 6 inches more in depth because it has to come down from there and they put it in. So you have to be careful that your ceilings are tall enough to have that type of architectural design in the room and that the room is big enough to handle it. Otherwise, you might make the room feel smaller.
So 9 feet and up. All right. Thank you for that. That's interesting to know. But, it's a beautiful look with that crown molding. I don't know if that was getting outdated yet or no. Or that's just something that's never going to get outdated.
You'll still see some high-end homes with coffered ceilings and a lot of wainscoting on the walls and very intricate detailed trim. That woodworking is expensive, and I think when people go to sell their homes, they realize, wow, I spent a fortune on this, and not everyone appreciates it, but it is absolutely beautiful.
Good.
And it's an art that is very particular and costly to do.
Got it. All right. Thank you for that. What else did you want to share with us?
So when you talk about color, and one of the things I tell everyone is, when you walk into a paint store and you see all that color and everything, there's, usually at a Rings In or even at Home Depot. Home Depot, you might not get a great color consult there, but you can always sample. And something called sampleize, meaning you don't have to paint it on your wall. It's a stick-on piece. It's like, a big square that you just stick on and peel off. Sampleize is the best way to go. You don't have to go buy the paint and paint it on. And you can go get sampleize. I think they're $5 a piece. And put it on your wall and get 3 or 4 colors and live with it. Live with it in the morning, live with it at noon, live with it at night. Look at it at all hours of the day before you make a decision. Even if you're not calling on a designer for a color consult, do it yourself by getting those sampleized pieces, order them online, put them up, and just kind of look at it and see what tones that they generate before you actually pick a color. Yeah. And that will really save you a lot of time. I know too many people that just start picking and then have their painter start painting, and they're like, whoa, I came home and I hated it.
Interesting.
So I always say take your time to pick it. I know the painter's like, hey, we want to get in and we want to get painting. Then do your due diligence ahead of time and spend some time looking at it on your walls.
Got it. Good to know. Thank you so much. And also, we just have 2 minutes left on the show. Just want to see quickly about coordinating wall colors and floors and countertops.
Yes. So when you're redoing a kitchen and you've got your floors done and you're putting in your countertops and your cabinets, you really want to say, okay, what color if my cabinets are white and my floor is like dark brown, say your kitchen, white cabinets, brown wood floor, countertops, depending on what your countertops are, if they're just a white, you've got to think about that tone that's in that countertop. Like for me, I have a marble countertop, and I used to have my walls were natural linen. When I changed which went great with my last countertop. When I changed out my countertop, all of a sudden it looked terrible.
Oh, wow.
Muddy. So what I had to do is look at that color and say, oh, Revere Pewter, which is more of a grayish, would look so much better, and had to go paint everything. So countertops in a kitchen and picking your color are key because the paint color has to be a tone of what's in your countertop. And if it's just plain white and there's some gray lines, well, then you want to maybe pick something along those lines and something else will go. But you have to be careful that the tones, if it's creamy, you've got a cream base. If it's gray, you got a gray base or a grayish base. So it is really important to make sure that it goes because it could, like when I first put my counters in, I was like, wow, I have to paint all the walls.
Yeah.
This looks terrible.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Good to know. Well, in closing today, what else do you want to leave for our listeners? And, of course, we need to get your contact information.
Yes. So color can be fearful, but just go ahead and get sampleized colors or call me for a color consult. I can be reached at 203-536-0712 or email me at susan@susancorvo.com. Would love to help you pick out your color so that you can say, I love coming home each and every day.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time, and looking forward to the next time we get to speak. Thanks again.
Thanks so much.
Have
Take care,
a great
girl.
day, sweetheart. And to all of our listeners, thank you as well.